Our episode tonight is brought to you by our new partner, Genesis Gold. Just like we track the origins of our food to ensure its quality, knowing where your financial assets come from is just as crucial. Genesis Gold Group offers a secure, tangible investment in gold directly from the ground to your IRA. In times of inflation, currency devaluation, and economic uncertainty, gold remains a beacon of stability. Let's ground our financial future in something solid. Visit cavaliergold.com.
And we want to welcome you to our live stream of the Cavalier Connection podcast. It's been a little while since we've gone live, but if you're new here, be sure to hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, give us a follow on X at Talk UVA Sports, and on Instagram, YouTube, Spotify. You know the deal. I'm Jack. That's Jay Ballard and my dad, Jeff Lowe. How are we doing tonight, fellas? Jay?
Doing fantastic. Glad to be live for a change and ready to talk some football.
Yeah, doing well. Excited for us to get live here. You actually have to listen to our sorry voices for a little bit of time here. Hopefully we're not too bad. We've been bringing all the hot action with all these interviews we've had as of late, and we were like, it's time to get live ourselves and give our core opinions and predictions.
That's right.
Yep, absolutely. As we showed before the little intro there, we are now officially partnered with the gold company. Be sure to visit cavaliergold.com. Again, that is cavaliergold.com. It's a great company. We were talking about it before. Dad, do you want to give your little take what we were going to say?
No, we're talking about the gold company. Genesis Gold is who we've partnered with. And, it's some unsettling times here. So you never know. And it doesn't hurt to roll over some of your retirements into some gold to play it safe. But yeah, we're excited about the new partnership with Genesis Gold, and check us out, cavaliergold.com. I think you get a free consultation. So it doesn't hurt.
Absolutely. It does not hurt at all. So before we get deep dive in here, since we are live, we can actually interact with viewers as we did in the past, towards the basketball season when we had a reaction live streams and stuff. So we hope to go live a little more often. Just sometimes it's tough when we try and get guests on. It's tough to get them linked up at the exact times we want to go live. And plus, that's a lot of pressure on us and them. So, but we love going live, and we want to know, what are your questions? We love interacting with the viewers. We love hearing your questions, and we love to answer them. So be sure to get into the chat right there and tell us you're here. Other than that, I think we can get started here. Believe it or not, football season is just around the corner. We got August the 31st, is that right? For week one against Richmond. So It's really
4 weeks
a month away.
Tonight.
4 weeks from tonight. Yes. So it is under a week. We are really close. It's been a long off season, I feel like, but I think I can speak on behalf of all three of us when I say I could not be more excited for football season to be here to watch some Cavalier football. So first little segment we wanted to get into here is the UVA fall camp just kicked off earlier this week, and we have a little bit of football news. So the first thing I'm going to mention here, and then I'll let you guys go ahead and take off. The first couple things we've seen injury-wise is Mekhi Buchanan and Stevie Bracey have been – do I got that right, those names? Yes. Have been injured. It sounds like they'll be out for a lot of time for the whole season. Is that right?
Yeah, I think they're out. Yeah.
I think they're done for the season.
It didn't sound good when Coach Elliott was talking.
Promised.
Yeah, no. So those are kind of some hits. The good thing at defensive end is we look all right there already with Cam Butler being there, but you hate to see players go down, especially in fall camp before we can even get close to the season starting. So that's tough. But I think one of the main things we want to talk about with the football team in fall camp, we've been talking about it with a lot of our guests, Musket or Calandria. And Dad, I'm going to start with you. What's your first thoughts?
I don't know. I really think I just believe it's going to be Musket myself to start the year. But I think they're both going to play a ton. I was reading today. Calandria. One thing that he's definitely, of course, it's easy to say. Calandria is our Johnny Manziel on the fly, and he off script. He makes so many good plays. But he said the importance of just not turning the ball over and taking what's in front of him, which is huge. Because sometimes, he would make that ill-advised pass down the field somewhere, taking a chance when it's okay to take 5 yards. It's okay to throw the ball away. But also that gambling mentality also will it'll excite you and make a play and win a game for you too. So I think, last year, and he's a true freshman last year, but he could win you a game. He could lose you one. I don't think Musket. I think Musket's going to be safer, but to get where we want to get, I like Calandria. And last thing I wanted to mention on it. So Jack and I, we were out to dinner on Monday night with some Hokie fans, and the one Hokie fan said, and I mean but I could definitely understand why he'd say it. Obviously, he doesn't watch our team play. He watched us play one game last year, and that was against the Hokies. And he said, "Well, who's y'all's quarterback?" And he said, "He's horrible." So actually, he's not horrible. He had a horrible game because other than that, he made some mistakes. Of course, he's a true freshman, but I said that's the future right there. So,
yes,
it's a lot to be excited about. But what do you think?
I think Coach Elliott has. I think he's played it pretty well. Because you want both guys to believe they're the guy, and I like you said there, Jeff. I think both are going to play a lot of snaps. So it's not going to be as important as who starts the first game as who finishes the last one. And it may not be the same person because I'm kind of with you. It does seem like Musket. To me, you take a guy to ACC Media Day and then you don't start him. That doesn't even make sense. And I know he said, that wasn't anything important, but I don't see that happening. There's a ton of guys you could have taken. You could have taken Malachi Fields. He's going to play a big role, or Chris Tyree or somebody like that. But instead, you took the quarterback, and so he'll probably start. Calandria is exciting, though. I mean, the good thing that I hear from both guys is that they're each other's biggest fans. And when you're in a competition, it's easy to sit there on the sideline and be like, okay, he just threw an interception. All right. Maybe he throws another one. Maybe they call. And there's none of that going on from everybody who's spoken.
From what we've heard from, yes.
Yeah, and that's directly from them, and you got to take them at their word. I mean, they're saying all the right things. Of course they want to play. I mean, we've played enough sports, not at that level. We've played enough sports to know you want to be on the field and not on the bench. Otherwise, you wouldn't be playing. So I think Calandria knows if his time isn't this year, it will come. Musket's out of eligibility after this year. So I think Calandria is going to see the field, and he'll be just fine. And I'm excited to see August 31st who runs out there first. All off season have said Calandria because I just assumed that Coach Elliott was just kind of blowing smoke. But I think he's actually telling the truth when he said a quarterback competition. So I really think it's going to be whoever looks the best in fall practice, and I don't think it's been determined yet.
Yeah, and we didn't even know Musket was returning until late in the transfer portal, if I remember correctly. And remember, Colangelo was bringing in all these receivers. He seemed to be playing a part in bringing, Chris Tyree, Terrell Harris, a lot of these guys. And it's like they transferred here because they wanted to play with Colangelo, but we don't know that. And I think a lot of people really do forget the few games that Musket did play in last year were huge. That North Carolina game, he balled out. And I think, like y'all said, I mean, he's more mature. He makes more mature decisions. He's not going to take the risk like Colangelo might take by throwing on the run off his back foot 30 yards downfield, but he'll make the plays. He'll get you the first downs. And I mean, if you beat a team like a top 10 North Carolina, I think that is a huge feat. He's a mature quarterback, and I don't think I wouldn't be upset with him being under center. Now, do you want to see Colangelo, though? I do kind of want to see Colangelo. The ideal situation, I feel like, is if you could play Musket and redshirt Colangelo, I think that'd be great. The problem is that transfer portal. It's very scary. And it does sound like Colangelo wants to stay regardless, but you don't want to risk that. I don't think you redshirt Colangelo because that's a scary situation.
Well, I don't think that's even going to come into play.
No.
Yeah, and also at media day, Jay had a question for Coach Elliott that got posed that about could both quarterbacks potentially play at the same time. And I mean, that's never really been a big recipe for success in the history of football that I've watched.
Unless you're Virginia Tech against us in 2021.
Well,
they say if you have two quarterbacks, you don't have one. So
correct.
Yeah.
If you recall, Jay, and I don't remember if it was the Broncos. I don't remember if it was Sean Moore. Remember when they made it? They did an alternating of quarterbacks, and Sean, was he drafted by the Broncos, I believe? And I think Elway was hurt or something, and they were going. And I'm talking about every other drive. It was a Virginia quarterback. Every other drive, they were rotating. The Virginia quarterback came in and played, and then whoever the other quarterback was. I mean, that's a crazy. You're talking about no rhythm,
right? That you can't win like that. Once he makes the decision, I mean, I think you could see packages of this is a Colangelo package. We're going to go, because if you think about some of the best drives that you have are your scripted plays. As Washington fans, when Norv Turner was the coach, he was excellent at the first drive of the game, going down the field and getting points. And if you can do that for two quarterbacks, script to their strengths, you may buy yourself an extra possession of points.
And one last thing on this, the weapons, the offensive weapons those guys have. Oh, yeah. I mean, just get the ball in Tyree's hands and let him go to work.
Yep.
The Malachi Fields, he'll go get the ball. There's so many weapons out there. Just don't turn the ball over.
Yeah.
Just get the ball in their hands and they'll go do the job for us.
Yep. And as long as the O-line can
I was going to say,
so kind of whoever it is.
So almost like transitioning a little bit to our next topic, how UVA was picked 16 out of 17 in the ACC preseason standings, and we'll talk a little bit about that. But again, yes, we have all those playmakers at receivers, but what did we talk about when Tony Covington and Ahmad Ball Hawkins were on the podcast? We will win and lose games in the trenches. Our offensive line has to be huge this year, and we have so many returners. You got to think, man, this offense is just set up for success. The offensive line is pretty much veterans. We've got veteran receivers who made some noise last year, as well as an outstanding transfer in Chris Tyree. You got to think we have the weapons to do it on offense.
And the offensive line, and from what I've read, that took first team reps is exact same as last year's. So,
which I love to hear, because I mean, when you play with each other for that long, you get chemistry. That's typically when you see the better offensive lines. And regardless of the Tech game last year, they were really, I don't know if I'd say bonding. They were coming together big time towards the end of the season. That Duke game, remember getting the run game going against Duke? That was phenomenal. And if they played towards the end that way, they had a full offseason to work out with each other and practice with each other, you got to think they're going to have a lot of chemistry.
Yeah, I think as Boley said, the guys are all healthy right now. Of course, we did lose Noah. Hart. I don't want to get his last name wrong, but we lost a good depth piece. And the same thing on the defensive line with Buchanan. I know they were expecting some good depth from him on the defensive side. Bracey was probably going to be starting at linebacker. So you've already had a couple of injuries there. The kid from Cincinnati is going to be huge. Armstrong, the transfer. He's going to, have to see the field like immediately. And so he's played a lot of football. Coach Elliott said, he started a lot of games against Power 5 teams. So those are the depth pieces that you brought in through the portal. And if the secondary can play to their potential, and it's health, but I think 4.5 is a slap in the face. 16th is a slap in the face. But I think the ACC is an underrated conference this year because
without a doubt,
I think there's a lot of good football teams this year. Whereas in years past, this Virginia team, I would say, would be a dark horse to win the ACC. I can't say that right now. I just think there's ready to compete, for a playoff spot.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, Florida State, period. I mean, they're bringing back so many. And this is completely off topic. They're bringing in the transfer quarterback DJ Ukulele, which you don't know what you'll get out of him, but they look pretty good. Them alone. I mean, obviously Clemson's always going to be a tough team. Virginia Tech,
Miami is always dark horse. Love.
Miami. We'll see. We'll see about Miami. I never really buy into Miami, but unfortunately, we're hearing a lot about Virginia Tech. NC State, Louisville will probably. Louisville. They're all going to end up being competitive. And SMU, the new addition, absolutely. And SMU, that's going to be a tough senior day. Go ahead.
And look at North Carolina's schedule. It's not the team necessarily, but look at Carolina's schedule. They could easily be like 9-0 to start the year with an upset or two. So
it's going to be tough.
It's going to be tough. Even a much better Virginia team could go out and win 4 to 5 games. But to me, I think this is a 6-win team is where I'm going to fall. I think they have the potential to be a 9-win team, 8 to 9-win team, but you're going to have the breaks go your way. And we'll see.
I think it's really about one of the biggest things is turning the close losses last year into wins this year. The games that we lost in the fourth quarter that we had in the bag, not in the bag, but that we had really close to winning, turning those into wins would make a huge difference in our schedule this year. And that's all it really took. I mean, you have a select 4 or 5 games last year that really could have gone either way. If we can get them to go our way, I mean, we're sitting in a bowl game potentially. So if we can turn those into wins, if we win 6 games, I think I'd be pretty happy with it, including a Tech win. I'd be very happy with the season.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I think the team. I was going to say, I think the team has the potential to get about 8 wins potentially. We'll see. But go ahead, Jay.
Well, I was just going to say, and I've said this on other podcasts, but we picked up a lot of listeners. There's 4 stages to a program when you're building it, and there's lose big, lose close, win big. And if we're in that middle ground right now between lose close, win close, and when you're in coin flip games almost every week, so you're going to have to make the plays in the fourth quarter because there's going to be a lot of games that come down to the last 3 minutes.
Ballhawk had us as 6 is the low end, 8 is the high end,
and I think he's spot on.
Yeah, 6. I'm thrilled. I hate to say I'm thrilled with 6 though. I'd say
if it's 6 and a Tech win, I'm absolutely ecstatic. 6 and a Tech win. Now 6 without a 6 without a Tech win.
I said 2 and a Tech win.
I was gonna say you could take less than 6 with a Tech win.
It depends on who the wins are against, but I mean, if we get 5 and a Tech win, I think I would be happy. But 6 without a Tech win, I think I'd be happy. But it's still, when you lose to Tech at the end of the season, it's such a disappointment every year. So I don't.
Yeah, there was somebody on Facebook had posed the question: if Virginia goes 6-6 but loses their last 6.
Which is possible.
What does that mean for the program? How do you look at the season?
The crazy part about it
was a huge success. I mean, it didn't end the way you wanted it to, but you're bowl eligible and you won 6 games. I mean, and you're building. So I don't care how you get there, you just build.
The crazy part is I think that could be a very realistic situation, winning the first 6 and dropping. We got a tough back half of the schedule. I mean, it's unbelievable.
You got to see how it shakes out because Pitt is not projected to be very good. SMU is not going to be, in my opinion, SMU is not going to be as good as they're projected to be. We handle North Carolina pretty routinely. So there's a lot of games that, when you look at a Vegas line, we'll be favored to lose. But I think, there's no game we can't win.
I think that SMU game late in the year, that is senior day, right? I'm pretty sure that's senior day.
It is.
I think that could be very similar to a Duke game last year where they start out the year pretty hot. People are talking, not big, but they're talking pretty good about SMU, and I think they will be solid, but they kind of died down towards the end of the year. I think that's a potential game that we could end up winning towards the end of the year. And that'd be great to end the home schedule with the win against SMU going into Tech. I can't remember if they have a game between SMU and Tech, but regardless of the situation, no, they don't. They play Tech right after. So if we could find a way to beat SMU going into Tech, I think that'd be big too. But
I don't see any way we lose our last 6 games. I don't see any way we go 6-0 and then lose. But I don't think we're going to go 6-0 either. We'll lose. Probably 2 in that stretch.
I was going to say 4-2, 5-1. You're happy.
You'll lose a game or two that you're favored in, or that I don't know if we'll be favored that we should win or have a shot to win, and then we'll beat somebody we shouldn't beat, just like we did last year.
I'll tell you this though: if you just want to straight up play, look for a team. If you're looking for a team that you can bet on to cover the spread weekly, Virginia is the team to look at, because I'm telling you, even the games that they lose, they're going to be close. And I think Vegas is going to keep that number, between, it could be, you're going to see games against good teams that we're double-digit underdogs easily, maybe 14-point underdogs. And I think that's just too much with this team and this offense. And the defense is going to be much improved if we stay healthy.
Yeah, I agree. Well, we did go a little over time with this kind of football talk, but really quick, I do want to get into football recruiting because we had a big announcement last night with the commit from Abdullah. I'm pretty sure that's how you pronounce the name. Abdullah, the 4-star. Josiah Abdullah, 4-star. That's huge pickup to add to the 2025 recruiting class that has already been building up. And I believe we will be getting him on the show potentially next week. So if you have any questions for Abdullah, be sure to leave them in the chat here or in our Twitter comments, anything, because I believe we will get him on the show. No promises, but we should be able to have him on the show. So if you have any questions for him, we will absolutely ask him for you. We'll get to as many as we can. And another one really quick with some news. Messiah Delholm, the guy out of Warwick, is making a decision on August the 10th between the Who's and a couple other big schools, Virginia Tech, Ohio State, and the Maryland Terps.
Doesn't look good for us.
Yeah, I was going to say, to give Jackie Franchuli credit, it's looking like if Ohio State wants him, he'll go that way. But we're going to look at, if he decides to stay in state, we're in pretty good shape, she thinks.
Yeah,
and give Jackie another shout out. She crystal balled Abdullah earlier in the week, and she was spot on. So,
and that's a big get because when he had over 50 Division I offers, and Florida Gators, while they're a little bit down at the moment, they don't sign bums. You know what I mean?
And he had offers from Alabama, Michigan, Penn State, Tennessee. I wrote them all down. LSU, Auburn, that's not Tidewater Community College. That's not Virginia Wesleyan. That's big boys.
Those are big schools.
And he's another. He's a speedster too. I mean, and speed kills at every level. But in college, when you really play that spread, like we like to run, he can make some hay early. I think.
We've turned into wide receiver U.
That's a fact.
Since the off season, it's been crazy.
Yeah. Well, moving on here as we'll get into our final little segment here. The NFL season is also approaching very fast, with Week 1 coming the week after Week 1 for UVA football. And so each week, we plan on predicting a different division's final records and winners. In the end, we will have our playoffs and Super Bowl champions. So this week, we will be starting with the AFC East, containing the Buffalo Bills at a 10.5 over-under, the Miami Dolphins at a 9.5, the Jets at 9.5, and the New England Patriots at 4.5. So Jay, I'm gonna get you to start us off here.
All right, so we're gonna go order of finish, right? Order of finish.
Order
and
of
then
finish.
predict the over-unders.
Over-unders, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So my order of finish, and like I said, I was telling you guys before we started recording, I was surprised at what I came up with when I went through this and did this little exercise of looking at the schedules and everything. But I am going Jets with an over, Dolphins with an over, Bills with the under, and the Patriots. What is their number? I got
4.5.
4.5. And I'll take the under on the 4.5.
So you've got who you have in first place? The Jets?
The Jets, but here's the kicker. I think all three of those teams make the playoffs. I think it's real tight. But if you look at the Bills' schedule, they got to play that schedule that is real difficult. They're getting the first place team schedule, and that's looking at
in
the
AFC.
That's tough.
The AFC is a tough, yeah.
Yeah, they get Kansas City, and there's their other matchup. And
we've seen how that gone. I'm
going to say they probably win 10, maybe 9, and then they're battling for a wild card spot. But I'll take the Jets to win it at 11-6. The Dolphins behind them a game, 10-7, and then the Bills. I'm going to say they're 9-8.
It's respectable.
So I'm going. When do the Bills and Dolphins play the second time? Do you know? Back into the year.
I had it up earlier.
Well, I'm taking. I've got the Bills and the Dolphins both 10-7. So I got the Bills going under, Dolphins going over. I got the Jets going under. I got the Jets at 8-9.
They play at Buffalo week 17.
Yeah, so the Bills are going to win the division by tiebreaker because the Tua is going to be cold. So I got the Bills 10-7, the Dolphins 10-7. Bills winning the division by tiebreak, and who knows what that tiebreak really is going to be there? Because if they split the regular season, then it goes to division record. I got the Jets 8-9 because they're the Jets, and that's just what the Jets do. And Aaron Rodgers is such a wild card coming off an Achilles injury, and we'll see what we get out of him. I mean, there's a lot of talent there, no question.
Who's the backup there now, though? Did they sign Flacco, or was that another team that signed him?
No, they didn't sign Flacco.
No,
but I feel like they did upgrade their backup situation.
Yeah,
they've got somebody decent. But yes, it's on Rodgers. I'm banking on his health.
And then I've got the Pats. I'm giving them an under of 4-13. I think it's going to be a brutal year in New England. New coach, and there's been some drama at practice too. There's not drama at all the practices, but what's his face just left the field, like had an argument with coach and then left, just what's the defensive player? Best player.
Yeah. I did see that. Gosh, I saw it was in the news a couple of days ago. Yeah, I saw.
They had the argument, and then I know
Judon.
Yeah, and then he just said, "I'm out. I'm out."
He should. But
what's that?
He should demand a trade
to Washington. But I think there's also probably in the back of his mind there's a contract issue there too. So he don't want to do something. He's not looking to risk certain things. I'm guessing. I'm pretty sure there's a contract, some contract issues there right now, and he wants to get paid. And so, the coach tells him to do something. I ain't doing that. I'm out. What you gonna do?
Yeah. Well, I'll go ahead and say I think I've got the Bills over 10.5 and winning the division again. But I think it could be around 11-6. I mean, I think it'll be tight between them and the Dolphins. I got both them and the Dolphins taking the over.
Kiss of death.
Thanks a lot, Jack.
Yeah.
Even though I did say Bills, I said Bills under.
I said Bills over. I said Bills over.
It's 10.5. I got them at 10.
I just have I think I gotta see them win more than 10 games. I think it's tough to see them lose that many games. And I got the Dolphins over 9.5 as well. I think that'll be a tight little race there. But I do think the Bills will take first place. And the crazy part is, I really agree with my dad when I say the Jets are going to jet and they're going to be under 9.5 wins. I truly believe that. And the same words as Ed Young from 757 Saturday Sports Talk. He's also a Jets hater. I just don't believe in them. I'm sorry. And I could be wrong. Aaron Rodgers has brought many mediocre Packer teams to playoff games, but I don't believe that he will bring the Jets to the playoffs. I think 8 wins might be respectable. I think they'll have about 6 or 7. And then the Patriots, it's going to be awful. And I mean, I hear that Drake May is even struggling in training camp right now. But training camp means nothing. I mean, we've seen that in the past, but it's tough your rookie season to adapt in a place that has no talent, not much of an offensive line. You know, they lost Mike Onwenu, their offensive guard. I mean, I think it's going to be tough. I think I'll take them under 4.5. I mean, I think I could see them right at 4 wins, if that. Yeah, I got Bills, Dolphins, Jets, Patriots.
I'm screwed.
Over,
Like,
under. And yeah, so hey, but wait, just wait. We get a whole clean slate of NFL picks this coming fall. So it all starts over. Maybe I'll be able to get some picks right. Maybe the blind squirrel will find the nut.
So yeah.
So did you want to bring up a little bit of Olympic talk with the USA basketball team today?
Just real quick, we can hit it. Just as we're closing out, I know the Virginia swimming team has been well represented in Paris, and then basketball won today as well, as we expect. You know, I'm not a big LeBron James fan, and I watched 10 minutes of the game today, but I got to say he made a ridiculous pass in that game.
Oh my God, the behind the back.
Nonchalant pass, like you're throwing with your kid in the backyard, for a dunk to I don't even remember who it was to at this point. It don't even matter.
Might have been Anthony Edwards. I can't remember.
The basketball teams had some controversy even as they continue to win. Game 1, they didn't play Jason Tatum. Game 2, our boy big old Joel Embiid, who we don't know what country he should be playing for anyway, sitting on the top of the chair with his arms crossed. He didn't come in, and I don't even know what they ended up doing today. But I think it's kind of crazy because I know they said Halliburton, when he got in the game today, which was towards the end, and the crowd went nuts. It's like it's our buddy Tristan Howe coming in the game to get some charity minutes at the end, and dang, I mean, that's an all-NBA player.
Yeah.
What's funny is that you got a guy like Derek White who is the prototypical role player, that finds himself on the court with the new age dream team.
Right.
When you play the game the right way, you get rewarded, and
yeah,
he could have been a Tony Bennett guy. You know what I mean? Like plays defense, does little things.
It's smart for Kerr to bring guys like that. That's just kind of, I say Kerr, but I guess Grant Hill. But when you get those kind of guys, the Derek White, the Drew Holidays, who are going to play defense, who have no ego, and you're not going to worry about them sitting there with their arms crossed, and because I mean, all these guys are used to playing, but those are the kind of guys and playing that tough defense and no ego. Those are Tony Bennett type guys.
That's right.
And real quick, I did want to ask Jay. So I know we had put out for some viewer questions for tonight's show, and I know we can hit those up on our next episode next week. But I did want to do a shout out. Who we had a few, didn't we, Jay?
Yeah, we had Pettiford, I hate to say names wrong. So how do you pronounce that, Jeff? I think you know better than that.
Pettiford?
Renee?
Yeah.
Okay.
Renee.
Asked
Please let us know
if we were going to win an ACC title again, and how we thought the season would go this year. So that was an interesting, real quick.
Right.
Will we win an ACC title? Yes. Will it be this year? Probably not. I think Duke's going to be a national championship contender with Flag. I think he's that good. We'll see. I think the ACC is playing for second, and I think we'll be in the top 4 again.
As always.
Kind of got into a debate on X this week with we had a good debate with several people, and I'd encourage you to go find that thread. It was an ESPN article that had their bracket already out for next year. We were not in it. We were not even listed in the next 4 out, or the next 4 after that out. Or I'm like, how can you lose all my respect when you don't put Tony Bennett's team even on the bubble? You know what I mean? It's like, he's got a better team coming back. Yes, we had 2 NBA players last year that are gone, but we've got a much more complete team coming in this year, talented top to bottom.
And a lot of them played with each other for a whole year.
Yeah, and I think this will be the year where in the past couple of years we've started fast and kind of faded. I think this team will start a little bit slower, but get stronger as we get to the tournament. And then it becomes a mental game. But you got so many new faces, the mental game shouldn't be there. It shouldn't be a can Coach Bennett's team win, because it's not like where you've got guys that lost as freshmen and sophomore and now juniors and seniors. You got so many new faces. Yes, you have some guys that were there last year, played big roles, but I think this is a brand new team with a ton of different faces that know nothing about the university's struggles in the tournament. So I think we're a tournament team, and I think potentially we could be a second weekend team. Is probably a ceiling that this team could reach.
Yeah. So we'll definitely go, dive into that a little deeper, as we in the coming weeks.
One more thing, Jeff. One more thing, just in case news breaks, because we did lose Johnny Carpenter today as an assistant coach. Tough loss. He started out as a manager for 4 years. And then got into the program. He did something with the women's team, and then he had many different roles until he got to be an assistant under Coach Bennett, leaving for a job with the Grizzlies. Not sure what, but so we hate to see him go. Wish him nothing but the best in his future endeavors. But somebody did ask the question, and I don't have the name in front of me on Facebook. Could Kyle Guy, who's been in Charlottesville quite a bit lately, step into that role as a new assistant coach? So I'm not even going to comment what I think, but I'm just going to throw it out there in case news breaks that we have a new assistant coach.
We were here first.
Yeah, we did have someone ask us that. So
what I need Kyle Guy for? Not as much for the coaching aspect, more so to get these guys to want to make shots against these teams and want to go into road arenas like he did and just drill threes and silence the crowd. That's what I want Kyle Guy to teach. But go ahead.
Free throws.
How about big foul shots? So last thing before we go, just if you haven't on Facebook or on X, August 31st, we play Richmond. We are going to be there. We're going to be scouring the tailgates. It's not really our kind of thing to do. So make sure you make sure we feel comfortable when we get around you. But no, we're gonna scour the tailgates. Hopefully, we can get some video of you guys having a good time and your thoughts on the opening game against Richmond. And so definitely
Jack's not 21, so don't try to give him alcohol because we have to stop you.
We've had a lot of experiences in the last few weeks with that.
If you would like us to visit your tailgate. Gosh, I can't talk. If you want us to visit your tailgate, just reach out to us. We'd love to come by.
If you would like us to sample your food.
Jack. If you would like us to visit your tailgate and come check y'all out, we definitely love to highlight you guys.
No question about it. Absolutely.
So also, if you're a listener and you run a business of any sort up in Charlottesville that you have maybe some coupons or something you like to give away to the Cavalier fans, we'd love to pass those kind of things out. So let us know. The last thing, happy birthday to Jack, 18 years old today.
Thank you.
I made it as a parent.
Yep. Jeff, you're off the hook.
I'm off the hook.
Your sentence is over.
I've already started packing my stuff. I got a couple boxes back there. So, yeah. But, yeah, thank you. It was a great day. So, but other than that, I think that's about all we have for today. So, as always, give us a follow on all the social medias, as I mentioned earlier, on X at Talk UVA Sports, Instagram, the _Cavalier_Connection_, Facebook, and YouTube, the Cavalier Connection.
You got to update that. We got TikTok now, too. I don't know what it is.
TikTok.
We got TikTok.
I don't know what it is, but we got TikTok.
The clock is TikTok and the kickoff.
Right.
We had to get on it.
Oh man,
Dad Joke 101. Thanks to everybody for tuning in tonight. We'll see you guys next week.
Go Hoos!
Go Hoos!